Episode 1. The goal of this talk, if you like, podcast, whatever you want to call it, is just to get some information to you guys. And you guys are basically the members of 179. Hopefully we'll get some different subjects. I want to get different people on here as well. Maybe we'll get some other coaches on to talk about their stuff, their classes, their specialities, their goals as coaches. Maybe we'll get some of you lot on, members, talking about when you started and all that stuff. But for now, I think the first one we go with is the programming of the workouts, I guess, and how we schedule a week and how we schedule a month and a year and how we program, really. If you're listening to this and you're not a member of 179, obviously you're more than welcome to listen, but it's quite specific to what we do here in the gym and to the members. So maybe you get something out of it, maybe you don't. I don't know. If we're talking programming in 179, we have to understand, first of all, what the goal of that is. And the goal of CrossFit as a fitness program is that, basically, is fitness. To program effectively, you have to understand what fitness is. And generally, we can go into this in loads of detail. Generally, the goal of a fitness program of CrossFit is to be good at everything. And when I mean everything, I mean sort of any conceivable element of fitness: running, rowing, biking, swimming, skiing, weightlifting movements, snatches, clean and jerks, deadlifts, bench presses, kettlebells, dumbbells, sandbags, gymnastic movements, pull-ups, push-ups, handstand walking. Anything you're using your body or controlling your own body through space would be a gymnastic movement. The goal is you can do them all, you have capacity in all of them, and then different time domains. So long or short time domains could be a 3-minute workout, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, who knows. The difficulty is taking that and put it into an affiliate setting. For me, we have 3 different types of CrossFit programming. You have CrossFit.com, which is where it all started, which is a website. You have affiliate programming and you have competitive programming. CrossFit programming has to be done at the affiliate level to work inside the 4 walls of a gym. And that's how I program for the affiliate, is how do we make people good at everything: long, short, light weights, heavy weights, high reps, low reps, and do it in a way that gets 24 people, 15 people through a workout that can be coached in the 4 walls of a gym. If you're running a website, it's way easier because you're not limited by space, equipment, location. You can literally do whatever you want, but that doesn't transfer well into an affiliate. If you want to compete at a high level in CrossFit, you need to do some sort of competitive programming, which is generally training more than once a day. Again, you can't do that in affiliate. So the class programming is not .com, but it's also not competitive programming. It's its own CrossFit class workout. So once you understand that, you're trying to make people good at everything and also deal with the limitations that comes with the physical space and equipment and numbers and being coached, then it looks a little bit different to .com. It looks a little bit different to competitive programming. I'll program in a month, basically. So every month has a theme. January now, when January rolls around, that'll be very, very benchmark heavy. So a lot of famous workouts in CrossFit like Cindy, Diane, Fran, Elizabeth, they exist. So you can do the workout in January and then we retest it some point over the year, next year, whatever it is. And if you're going faster, if you're lifting more weight, if you're doing more reps, if you're getting more rounds and reps in an AMRAP, then you're getting fitter. So the idea is that over the year, you are improving in all aspects of fitness. So you're not just getting better at gymnastics, you're also getting better at weightlifting. You're not just getting better at weightlifting, you're improving your cardio, if you like. If you focus too much time on any one of those, the chances are something else is going to fall away. We don't want you to be able to run a sub 20-minute 5K if that means you can't deadlift your own body weight. So there's an element of sacrifice in there to be well-rounded and fit. We basically trying to specialize and not specializing. So with 179, I'll program in the month. I'll take the theme of the month let's take January benchmark theme, and that means that those workouts will appear more often than not in the month. So we will see some sort of benchmark workout or a test of strength or a time trial on a row or a ski erg roughly about 3 times a week. Around that then is just classic CrossFit. Most of our workouts are going to have 2 to 3 movements in at a time. Usually workouts that are 4 time versus AMRAPs. The reason the workouts are 4 time over AMRAPs is that they generally make people work harder. We would call it intensity. Intensity is the quickest way and the most direct way to get results, like biggest bang for your buck. So we stick to certain time frames. 2 or 3 movements in a workout, usually less than 20 minutes, although I am playing around with that a little bit more. 4 time workouts over AMRAPs. If it's an AMRAP, generally you pace straight away. If it's a 20-minute AMRAP, you know you're going to pace 20 minutes. If it's 5 rounds of something, every rep is getting you towards the end of the workout. Where an AMRAP, you could stand there and do nothing, the clock's going to save you. So you'll generally get more out of a 4-time workout or 5 rounds or 3 rounds for time. You'll see that in the programming. High power movements that produce high power. So clean and jerk, snatches, deadlifts, lots of weights over a large distance or large range of motion. And that's basically the blueprint. I will generally do an interval workout once a week. 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off, 2.5 minutes on, 2.5 minutes off. Those are very, very high power producing movements. You can work very, very hard. You can recover and you can do it again. We'll go long. Long for us is 20 minutes or more. Twice a week, ideally. Sometimes in a partner version, sometimes just by yourself. But we'll try and go long, 20 minutes or more. We'll try and go heavy twice a week, whether it's in the workout or just at its own heavy day. And I'll try and vary the movements as best as possible. Squatting, pressing, upper body pulling, hip closing, hip opening. And you also pay attention to how those movements play off each other. Toes to bar and rope climbs will interfere with each other a lot more than something like toes to bar and running. Because you have trunk flexion in rope climb, you have trunk flexion in toes to bar. They generally produce less power because there's an interfering factor. But that's generally how it goes. So over the week, we'll be heavy, we'll be long, short. We'll have movements that are low skill, high skill, workouts that are low skill, high skill. And the goal of it is over the month or after the month, you've been exposed to all of those things that you need to make you fit. You will find that you are not very good at some stuff along the way. Any extra time you have is best spent working on those things you don't have. So if you don't have double unders, you know, they're not going to appear overnight. You have to practice them. They're a skill. If you just do CrossFit, your pull-ups will improve. You'll build upper body pulling strength. If you just do CrossFit, your handstand strength will improve, your pressing capacity, your deadlift capacity, but certain skills have to be worked on. That's something like a double under. In the classes, so that's the programming in a nutshell. In the classes, there is a balance of working out, being coached, and time to practice. Those 3 things are essential. So if you don't get coached, for example, it's very difficult for you to use the right weight and get the right stimulus, the right feeling of the workout. If we say the workout should be 5 rounds and you only get 3 rounds, someone else is getting 2-3 more rounds than you, they're doing way more volume, they're going to get way better, way quicker. If you overscale all the time, if we say you should be getting 5 rounds and you get 8 rounds, you've probably made things too easy and you're not making it hard enough to progress in the future. So scaling is an important aspect of it. We need to make sure that we're not overscaling, but also not underscaling to progress. Is my laptop going to die, is it? Okay. So in the class, there needs to be time to be coached. Coaching means teaching you the movements, making sure you're scaling appropriately, make sure your form is good. If your technique is off, the coach will step in and sort that out. Practice time means if there's a double under in there, if there's a muscle up in there, you have time to practice them. Otherwise, how are you going to get better at it if you don't practice it? And then obviously workout time. The working out is the most important. If you don't have a movement, the working out is what gives you time to practice those things. So if you haven't got a handstand hold, you haven't got a handstand push-up, you haven't got a rope climb, the workout for you will be practicing those movements in the workout. You can build capacity on the rower, doing burpees, doing sit-ups, but skill stuff like a rope climb, like a double under, there needs to be time in the class for you to be able to practice that. So you've got the programming laid out. It's varied to make you good at everything. The workout, the class will give you time to be coached, making sure your technique, making sure your scales, whatever you need to, are suitable for you. And then you need time to practice things that you haven't got yet. That's all built into the hour of a good CrossFit class. If I put too much stuff in there, if I just fill the hour with loads of working out, that gives you zero practice time and zero time to be coached. So you might get very, very fit at like rowing, all the low skill stuff, but when it comes to high skill stuff, you haven't got time to practice it, you will never get fitter. And there are people in this gym that don't find much value in practicing high skill stuff. They don't do the work needed to progress. They always do single unders, for example. That'll never get you double under, so there needs to be time to practice in it, and a good class will allow you to do that. If I don't put enough in the class, people aren't going to come in. So it's a balance of getting people in the door and also giving them enough time to be coached, practice some skills, and get a good workout in. The average time for our workouts have gone up in the last 2-3 months, because I'm seeing quite a bit of value in giving people more workout time, but there also needs to be practice time built into that as well. I think that's pretty much it. What else do I want to talk about? How long is that? I mean, they're not going to be long when I'm talking about, just talking to myself half the time. The other thing to consider when doing a CrossFit program in a gym is you're going to be limited by equipment and space, and how can you get, programming CrossFit for 24 people in a gym is very, very different to doing like online competitive programming. If you're doing online competitive programming, you're generally going to be doing that in open gym where you've basically got the whole gym to yourself. Naturally, you're going to workouts going to look a little bit different. There are multiple hero workouts that have got 3 barbells, 3 different weights. That is not suitable for a CrossFit class, because how can you get 24 people on 3 barbells, 3 different weights, and making sure people are scaling effectively and all that stuff. So it's CrossFit inside the 4 walls of a gym. If you want to do competitive programming, that's fine, but you should have all the skills ticked off first. If you're doing multiple workouts a day and you don't have a muscle up and you can't climb a rope and do double unders, you don't need competitive programming. You just need to work hard on stuff you're not very good at. Because that's what fitness is. Fitness is not what things am I very good at and what things am I not very good at. Someone who's fit can do a bit of everything. Jack of all trades, if you like. They have attribute points in all of the skills required to be fit, not put in excess stuff in some point. So that's a different conversation, The reason we get people to log their scores is because then I know what we're doing is effective or not. If people don't log their scores, how do I know the workouts I'm writing are effective? I don't. It's impossible. So we should see when people log scores is that the general trend for the gym is to improve. And some people get lost with that. They treat it like a leaderboard, and if it motivates you to use the results page as a leaderboard, fine, use it. But really speaking, it's just a way for me to see who's improving and who's not. If you're not improving, maybe you're overscaling, maybe you're underscaling, maybe you're not attending the gym enough, maybe you're not working hard enough, maybe you're not doing the right stuff outside the gym. That's another job for me to figure out why that's happening. That's why we're so big on logging scores, is because then I can look at it and assess whether the programming is effective or not and see where we are doing too much of a certain thing, where we aren't doing enough. The specialty classes is also another good way to get in more capacity and more practice time. The gymnastic classes, the weightlifting classes, the endurance classes, the high rocks class as well is all built around narrowing down the skill sets or the movements needed in CrossFit and giving you more practice time, more exposure to those movements. If you're really bad at pull-ups, I would recommend doing the gymnastic class. If you really suck at clean and jerks, do the weightlifting class. If you really enjoy that stuff as well, of course, do it. If you're trying to maximize fitness, those classes are there to help you improve stuff. Like, I check who's booked into certain classes. Janine will program a workout with rope climbs in, and all the people that can't do rope climbs cancel. That doesn't make any fucking sense. If you can't climb a rope, you should be the ones doing all the rope climb workouts. If you really struggle with snatch and bend program snatch and weightlifting and you cancel because you can't do it, that's the whole point of you being able to do it. It's training. The classes are training. They're not competing or showing off or always measuring progress. They're just a way to get better. And if you aren't doing stuff you're not good at, you're never going to get better at it. And if you don't want to improve your snatch or your rope climbs and your pull-ups, that's fine. You don't have to. But that's also the goal of being here, is that you get good at everything. So use the specialty classes to get more exposure to the movements. But if you just follow our class program, you'll improve across the board on everything. You don't need to do extra stuff. If you want to compete, it's a different conversation. You need to do extra stuff to speed up that progress, but you don't need it. If you just want to be fit and well-rounded, the classes are more than enough. It takes longer, obviously. If you got someone doing a strict handstand push-up program for 6 months, they're probably going to make more progress than you do. But you also haven't got to just do strict handstand push-ups to get better at it. Dumbbell press, dumbbell push press. Any pressing movement, ring dips, are going to improve your pressing strength. I mean, I'm not going to go into like all the level 1 stuff, because it'll bore you to tears, but personal training is perfect for working on things you want to work on and get better at it quicker. But if you not doing a CrossFit class because you can't do the movements is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. The whole reason that you do a class is because you have time in the class to practice those movements. But what happens in a class, if we're honest? People that can't do a rope climb, when we give them time to practice, stand there and just look around. Because they probably feel stupid they can't do it. But how would you think you're going to get better at it? If you don't take the time in the warm-up to practice these things, how are you going to get better at it? If you're worried about saving it for the workout, you need to get better at the movements. And doing more of the movement is going to give you more capacity in the future. I think generally people are quite short-sighted in they will not use movements now in the warm-up because they're worried about the workout, but they're missing the point that if they do more in the warm-up, they'll get better quicker in 6 months because they're just getting more practice at it, more development at it. Personal training is great because you can speed up the progress if you are impatient. But if you just stick the course, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you will improve your rope climbs. It takes time. It takes time. This is not an overnight thing. It takes years to get fit. All the people you're looking at in the gym where you think, fuck me, they're really fit, they've all been doing CrossFit more than 3 years. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. So it takes time. It takes time. Can't be rushed. The programming for the gym is designed to make you very good at everything over a long period of time. It's not designed to make you good at something in 6 months because it's impossible. Can't be done. If you want to do extra stuff, awesome. If you have time to do that, awesome. It's going to speed up the progress. Unless just doing extra stuff of things you shouldn't be doing, it's probably going to slow progress down because you should be doing other stuff, really. But yeah, I think that's everything. RX means, what does RX mean? RX means that you do the workout as prescribed. So every workout we write has got an intended stimulus, is the fancy word. It just means what the workout should feel like. So if we say that, let's take a 20-minute AMRAP. If we say you should be getting 5 rounds of the workout, that means your round should be taking you roughly about 4 minutes. That means, and if you get about 5 rounds, you've got the feeling of the movements and the workouts the way it should be designed. And the workouts are designed for the best people in the gym. They're not designed for your intermediate, your beginner athletes. That doesn't make sense. We program for the best people in the gym to challenge them, which means if you're not one of the best people in the gym, you're probably going to have to scale most of the time. But that's the way it's designed. It's not like a dig at you and your lack of fitness, if you like. It's just how it's done, how we do it. So if you say you want to go RX and we say it should be 5 rounds and you get 3, it's not RX anymore because you didn't do enough work. you spend more time standing around than actually do anything. You don't get fitter that way. If you always overscale, if we say it should be a moderate barbell, you always go light, you're never going to get stronger. You're not going to get stronger lifting lightweight lots of times. You have to be able to lift a heavier weight to get better at it. So the importance of scaling is to give you more progress over a 6 month or 3 year period, not to take progress away from you now. It's a low trajectory to a distant horizon. It's thinking about the bigger picture. Yes, you might feel like you're robbed of a workout now. You're never going to finish a workout and be like, that was too easy. If that was the case, you should just go faster. Nothing is too easy. You just didn't work hard enough at it. A 400 meter sprint flat out is pretty painful, but you could go for a 400 meter run slowly and think, oh, that was okay. Of course it's okay. If you ever finish a workout and go, that was okay, you probably just didn't work hard enough. Anything that you work hard at is hard. It's difficult. It doesn't feel good, but that's where all the progress is. People overscale, yeah. Yeah, no matter what we say, whether it's light, and there are a few people that come to mind on this, whether we say it's light, moderate, or heavy, they put the same weight on the bar. Again, if that's staying in the bubble, in the little comfort zone, that's fine. But there's also little to no progress there. You always have to be just trying to push the needle a little bit. And it doesn't mean on every movement every day, but you should probably pick one movement a day that you can push on. Maybe you're going to try and do the wall balls unbroken, or you're going to go a little bit heavier on the barbell today, or you're going to try and jump on a box for the first time. Because that's where progress is. And it gets frustrating when there's no progress, because I want people to get better, and I want people to want to get better. I do give people a hard time over it, but I don't think you'd be in this space if you didn't want to get better at a movement. And it's hard because people have good days and bad days, and you're trying to manage that as well. But yeah, scaling is important. It's not robbing you of progress today, it's giving you progress in the future. And it keeps you injury free, and the program is varied enough that you'll get better at loads of different stuff. You know? But yeah, it's not that complicated. We just do constantly varied functional movement at high intensity. If you do that over a long period of time, you get very, 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 very fit. Your first goal as a CrossFitter is to try and be able to tick off all the movements. Can I do a rope climb? Can I do a handstand push-up? Can I snatch? Can I clean? Can I deadlift? Can I squat? Once you can do all those things, you can tick all the boxes, then it's about adding more tools, more capacity to those movements. But if you're spending time doing extra running programming and extra lifting programming, you can't do a muscle-up or a pull-up, you can't do a handstand, that's where you should spend more time, because that's what's holding you back. Not adding 3 kilos to your clean is going to make no difference to your fitness overall. Especially if you want to compete. It's even more important when you want to compete. I think that's everything. I don't really know what I said. I've forgotten what I've said, really. So we'll see how that washes out, is it? Thanks for listening.